Hello, Monsieur Lane.
Ah, the delectable Nicole Collard, super sleuth. How may I be of service?
I was hoping I'd find you here.
Always available for a lovely lady such as yourself.
Henri's death. It must be so very hard for you.
Yes, I shall miss him deeply. We had such a very special relationship. The loss is so hard to endure, even for a man of such inner strength as myself.
What do you know about the owner of La Malédiction?
That was Henri's business. He found the painting and did the deal with the owner.
Would anybody else know anything about the owner?
Not likely. He kept especially quiet about that one. But he always kept a manifest for every exhibition.
I'm writing a follow-up piece on the gallery theft.
Ah, so you need an inside view. Authoritative.
Something like that.
The police have finished in the gallery. We could chat in the office. It's much more comfortable. More intimate. I might even be able to rustle up a little bottle of champagne.
Maybe later. I have some things to do first.
Maybe next time, then.
You mentioned a manifest. How would one get a look at that?
One might start in the office. That's where Henri kept most of his paperwork.
About the gallery.
Of course, my dear. We can go there now, if you would like.
That sounds great.
We can discuss my ordeal over a glass of champagne.
A cozy chat with Lane was the last thing I wanted. But it was my best hope, if I wanted to get a look around the office. So, what are we waiting for?
After you, my dear.
The place was heaving with junk. Finding what I wanted wouldn't be easy. As Lane sat down, something stuck out from beneath the cushion. It looked like a folder. Whatever it was, the police had missed it. I needed to get it.
Come, join me on the couch. I'm ready for you. You will be gentle with me, won't you?
Oh, I'm never gentle, Monsieur Lane.
Oh. Do call me Hector.
Henri's notice board was covered in mementos. I'd always dreamed about owning a VW van. With what I earned, I'd never own one of those. I guessed it was Henri's guitar. It had to be for show. Henri had a statue of himself, in the style of a Roman emperor. It was narcissistic and slightly disturbing. I couldn't search the desk while Lane was there. Lane hadn't noticed the folder. With that amount of padding, who would? The only way to get hold of it was to distract him. Monsieur Lane?
Hector, please.
So you really don't know who owns this up?
I'm sorry, my dear, I really don't.
I see Henri had a statue of himself.
Yes, for a man of high aspiration, he had alarmingly low taste. Nevertheless, I shall miss him. We were like family.
What will happen to this place now?
Henri's widow will decide, poor soul. She may find it in her heart to keep me around.
Oh, I'm sure she will. Oh, Hector. Perhaps I will join you in that glass of champagne.
But of course, champagne, nature's balm in troubled times.
Is there anything you can tell me about the painting?
It was an absolute treat to come across it. A true undiscovered gem.
There's no denying it is a fantastic painting. What can you tell me about the religious significance?
Of course, there is a deep religious symbolism locked within the painting, too. Central to this must be the pantheon of saints.
Don't you think it's a bit awkward in here, with so much of Henri looming over us?
Just ignore it, my dear.
So you really don't know who owns this up?
I'm sorry, my dear, I really don't.
I managed to get chewing gum stuck on my press card.
What a bizarre turn of events.
That's what I thought. To new friends.
To love. Oh, mon Dieu, that is so cold!
Oops, silly me. I am so sorry.
I'll have to dry this off. Don't you worry, my dear.
In the folder was a list of all the paintings in the exhibition. La Malediccio had to be there. It was. And next to it was the owner's name, Mr. Medovsky. The police had obviously not spotted the folder. I put it back. I had what I needed for my story. Monsieur Lane, thanks for everything. But I think I hear my editor calling.
Ma chérie, no need to leave so soon. It's only a little spillage.
And I found out who claims to own La Malediccio. Some guy named Medovsky. Sounds Russian, right?
Medovsky, my God.
Who is he?
He's new on the old dark block. Fresh to London from Russia, with ambition and a bloody reputation. Call Art, this is way over your head. I'm gonna put a more experienced crime journalist on the story. I can't afford for you to get hurt.
Relax, Ronnie. This is my story. Leave it with me. Let's discuss it over lunch tomorrow.
Okay. But don't do anything more. See you tomorrow.
Ronnie didn't trust me on this story. but I wasn't going to let him give it to someone else. I was going to have to move fast. Come in. Hi, Georges. Great to see you.
Hope you don't mind me just dropping in.
No, not at all. How are you getting on?
Pretty good. I found the gun that was used in the robbery.
I'm impressed.
Yeah? Well, Nave wasn't. He accused me of trying to plant it, and then of being involved in Henri's death. Then he threw me into a cell. He couldn't make a stick, of course, so he had to let me go this morning. But he's convinced I'm involved. So if I put a foot wrong, he'll nail me next time. But, hey, on the bright side, have I got a story for you. Annette, the manager at Vera Security, lied about the owner of the company. When I pieced together that shredded letter, I got a name, Medovsky.
Medovsky! That's the same guy who claims to own La Malediccio.
What? He owns the painting and Vera Security? He has to be the one behind this whole scam.
You're telling me? We have to be sure.
What the?
I cannot sleep on that bed. It is too soft.
Georges, this is Senor Marquez.
Nice to meet you.
So you are this George, huh?
Senor Marquez is staying in the apartment across the hall. Apparently, he's the real owner of La Malediccio.
What? I thought you said Medovsky was the owner.
Senor Marquez claims the painting was stolen from his family during the Spanish Civil War.
Really? Do you have any proof?
Senor Marquez, could you show him the photograph?
Who is this?
My father. When they came for us in 38, I fled with my mother. But my father was not so lucky.
How can we prove this is you as a child?
The dates would tie up, Georges.
Who's this?
My mother, a good woman, a saint.
A pair of statues stood on plinths on the mantelpiece. That's definitely La Malediccio hanging on the wall?
It belonged to my family, so it belongs to me.
If the painting really was stolen during the 1930s, then this Medovsky guy has no legitimate claim to it. But how can I be sure that you're the boy in that picture?
I can prove it. Look at my father in the photograph. You see the medallion he's wearing? He gave it to me just before he died. This medallion has been in our family for hundreds of years.
It's definitely the same medallion. A snake eating its own tail. That's also on the painting.
It is the Ouroboros.
The what?
The Ouroboros. It is a sign of my people, my family, my faith. The Gnostics. My father was a Gnostic leader. La Malediccio is sacred to the Gnostics. Hence they both display the Ouroboros.
A priest I met said the painting was the devil's work. A thing of evil.
Ha! He would say that. Do not believe all you hear from the church. Whatever you think, the painting is mine.
If Marquez was the true owner of Malediccio, then Medovsky had no legal claim to it. Might be tough to prove, but if I could, we wouldn't have to pay out on the insurance. So, if the painting belongs to you, how did Medovsky get it?
The fascists stole it. It went to Madrid, then Berlin, then, after the war, to Moscow. After that, it was lost, until now.
We need to talk to this Medovsky, but how do we find him? Senor Marquez,
Yes, George?
you mentioned the Gnostics. What can you tell me about them?
It is not important. A religious sect, that is all. My family were Gnostic. They were a peaceful, good people.
So, La Malediccio belongs to your family.
It did. Once it was stolen, I did not believe I would ever see it again.
You must have been excited to see the painting again.
It was a miracle.
I found some evidence that ties Henri to the dodgy security company.
That doesn't surprise me. It sounds as though the whole thing was set up.
Hey, Nico?
Yes, George?
What do we know about this Medovsky character?
Ronnie said he was dangerous and very rich. He claims to be the owner of La Malediccio.
And appears to be the boss of Vera's security who were supposed to protect it. Now that kind of figures. The best way to steal something is to get hired to look after it. But why steal a painting you already own?
We need to talk to this guy.
To do that, we need to find him. So let's go over what we know about the thief.
Okay, well, he had a distinctive tattoo on one arm.
And his helmet had Waterloo Motors across it.
Not a lot to go on.
You said the thief had a tattoo.
On his arm, it was a skull and crossbones with headhunters written around it.
I found the gun that Henri was shot with at Vera's security.
If Medovsky owns Vera Security, it means that he must know the killer.
Well, it can't be Annette, but she has to be involved in some way. We need to track down Waterloo Motors.
Have you tried the internet?
I've been kind of busy.
Okay, let's have a look. Waterloo Station, Battle of Waterloo, Waterloo Kebabs, Waterloo Sunset. Ah, here we go. Waterloo Motors. It's a garage in London. I'll send the number to your phone.
Nico,
Yes?
why would somebody steal their own painting?
Insurance scam? But then why kill Henri?
I get the impression that Henri was somehow involved. So, Waterloo Motors is a garage in London. That's a surprise.
Yes, I sent you their phone number.
I'm convinced that Annette knows more than...
Of course, but she's probably just trying to protect herself. Ronnie said that Medovsky was dangerous.
Nico had finally upgraded her computer. Nico's camera was pretty old. I wished she could afford a new one. It looked like Nico kept her most secret possessions close to her chest. Nico's trash can was full of paper. No surprise there. I wasn't going to leave until I'd figured out where I needed to go next.
Rogers,
Hi,
how can I help you?
my name is George Stobart. I'm investigating a murder that was committed here in Paris.
What's that got to do with us?
The guy we're looking for was wearing a helmet with Waterloo Motors on it.
Oh, yeah. It's a very popular helmet.
I don't suppose you know who might have bought one?
Well, not unless you've got any more information.
The killer had a tattoo on his arm. It said, Headhunters.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, he bought one of our helmets just the other day.
Terrific. Do you know his name?
Nah. Brings his boss's mercy and having service. Words to wise, though. Oh, yeah, he don't mess about. The car's registered on Dudley Street, isn't he? I mean, that's all I know, mate, sorry.
No, that's more than enough. You've been a great help. Thanks for your time.
See ya.
Bingo.
Good work. That has to be the guy. And now we've got his address.
How about a trip to London?
I thought you'd never ask. Senor Marquez, will you be okay here?
The bed is uncomfortable. But it will do. Come back quickly with the painting, eh?
London cabbies. Gotta love them.
This is the place. Here on the right. To afford a place like this in London, you've got to be good at something. So, we clear on how we're going to do this?
Yeah, we're two insurance investigators, see? We finagle our way inside, butter Madovsky up, and then get the dirt on it, right?
Fenoodle?
Yeah, finagle. You remember how to finagle, don't you, Nico?
George, how could I ever forget?
Good, because I suspect we're gonna need major league finagle to get in this one.
You got it. Excuse me? Hello?
On your bike, darling. This is a private residence.
We're here to see Mr. Madovsky.
So?
I don't suppose you know Mr. Madovsky's driver, do you?
And who the hell might you be?
I'm Nico Callar, and this is my colleague, George Stobart.
Well, isn't that cozy? Can you count, darling?
Yes, of course.
Well then, 1, I don't know you or laughing boy here from Adam. 2, you ain't got no business round here. And 3, I don't like French birds. Comprenez?
Hi, guess who?
What do you want?
Do you work for Mr. Madovsky?
No, I'm standing here pruning his edges for a laugh. Course I bloomin' work for him. Maybe you didn't hear me the first time. Get lost!
Hi, guess who?
What do you want?
Showing him my press card would have blown my cover. We have important business with Mr. Madovsky.
Look, will you stop asking all these blooming questions? Can't you see I'm busy?
Ah, it's locked. Hey, George.
What's up?
Seriously, how are we going to do this? According to Ronnie, Medovsky's the real deal.
Coming from Ronnie, that's quite a compliment.
If Medovsky's the killer,
We need to be careful, which suggests...
I use my Gallic charm?
Exactly.
I couldn't pop the gate with my press card. The gap was too small. The bush was perfectly shaped. It was a bush, but was it art? The gate lock was controlled remotely. Ronnie wouldn't have been too pleased to hear that I was chasing after Medovsky. It was topiary in progress. Hi, guess who?
What do you want?
Nice bush?
Bush? This is so much more than just a bush.
Oh, I am sorry.
It's art, love. Or to be precise, topiary. And as everybody knows...
Topiary is a transition form.
That's right. A statement of man's dominance over nature. A metaphor for the human condition.
And yet,
It's not enough, is it?
not for the big questions.
Life, death.
Right and wrong.
Tell me about it.
You struggle, monsieur?
Day and night.
That is the human condition.
Can we ever escape it?
It is possible through meditation, contemplation.
I see.
It is our only salvation.
Well, you give me food for thought, you have.
Anytime.
Much appreciated. At a difficult time.
You are welcome, monsieur.
So, anyway, this is my latest piece. What do you think?
It's very nice. Eagle? A two-headed eagle.
Result. Get in there, my son. Yes, it's a Russian Imperial Eagle for the boss. You spotted it straight off. I owe you one, lady. You have got that rare quality. Real insight.
No, please. You have a rare talent. We have important business with Mr. Medovsky.
I need a good reason to bother the boss with this. He's a busy man.
I understand, but I think he'll want to speak with us.
What makes what you have to say so important?
La Maledicció, a painting that belongs to him, has been stolen. If he wants his insurance claim processed quickly, then he'll want to speak with us. I think he might be annoyed if he finds out you never even told him we came around, right?
Okay, okay. Hang on, I'll phone him now. Yeah, Mr. Medovsky? Yeah, French bird. Yeah. Yes, boss. Right, I will do. You've piqued the boss's interest. That isn't always a good thing. The gate should be open. I'll take you inside. Follow me, please. Mr. Medovsky will be right with you, madame.
Well, we're in. Now what?
We'll make him think we're all set to pay out on the policy. See if we can get him to talk.
Welcome, welcome.
Good day, monsieur. My name is Nico Collard, and this is my assistant, Georges Tabar.
You are here to discuss La Malediccio, yes?
Correct.
I am surprised to see you. My agreement with the gallery specified that my ownership should be kept in the strictest confidence. It would appear that agreement has been broken.
A man has been killed, monsieur.
An agreement is an agreement.
And a painting stolen, monsieur. We need to ask you a few questions.
Bravely put, Miss Collard. So be it. I will cooperate however I can.
How did you come into possession of La Malediccio?
I purchased it at auction.
We have reason to believe that the theft was an inside job.
Oh, that is terrible. The staff at the gallery were so pleasant to deal with, but such is human nature. I trust this won't delay the insurance claim.
I'm sure matters will be sorted out soon. Did you know Henri, the gallery owner?
Oh, purely on a professional basis. My restorer recommended his gallery to me.
Did you ever meet him personally?
No, only via email. I rarely fly. I'm carbon neutral, you know.
Very conscientious, monsieur.
Well, the planet won't save itself.
Do you have receipts for the painting?
Of course. I have already sent them to your office.
These things take time to process.
What is there to process? I own the painting, someone stole it, and your company provided me with insurance. I am the victim here.
A state you share with the deceased, monsieur. What connection do you have to Vera Security?
I've never heard of it.
There is strong evidence that ties you to Vera Security.
Oh, you are beginning to sound like a policeman, madame.
We are merely doing our jobs, monsieur. We must leave no stone unturned.
I would leave this particular stone unturned if I were you.
I'd rattled him, but I didn't want to push too hard. Of course. We will check our information again.
I would do that.
Your restorer, how does he fit into all this?
Hobbs. Well, he did a little cleaning work on La Malediccio, that's all. I think that's enough for now. When do you expect the claim to be paid out?
It will not be long, monsieur.
When exactly? Surely you can give me a date.
Monsieur Medovsky, I'm sure you...
Please excuse the interruption, sir.
What is it, Shears?
Hobbs is here.
Tell him I'm busy.
He mentioned the portfolio, sir.
For pity's sake, can he not just follow simple instructions? Please excuse me for a moment.
The gardener's called Shears?
Yeah, probably not what his mother christened him.
What a creep.
Very clever creep at that. We got nothing on him, and he knows it.
He just brushed off the Vera connection. We need something else to get under his skin. I could use Marquez as leverage.
Yeah, it's just one man's word against another.
So what else can we do?
Let's take a look around. Maybe there's something here we can use against him.
Good idea, Georges. You search, I'll keep watch at the window.
The catch had snapped. It was a beautifully inlaid cigarette box. Sadly, the catch would have been too thick to cut with nail clippers. The paperclip just flexed and slipped off the catch. Can you hear what they're saying?
Yes.
You should not have turned up here, Mr. Hobbs. I made it clear I would deliver the package later today.
I wanted to make sure it got to me all right. I've got a lot of work to do on it.
This is most inconvenient.
Medovsky's arguing with his visitor, Hobbs, about the portfolio.
That portfolio is important, I'm sure of it. Medovsky had left the cabinet open. On the shelf inside was a business card and a scribbled note. I picked up the business card. It read, Wilfred Hobbs, Fine Art Restoration. I made a note of the address. Then I put the card back where I'd found it. No point arousing Medovsky's suspicions. The note read, L-SERP drawings for you to check. W.H. Now we're cooking with gas. I wondered if the painting could be in the portfolio that Medovsky had taken. Everything was in Cyrillic, except for a number. 1869. It was a thank you note from a British politician. Huh. Medovsky certainly had some dubious friends. See a penny, pick it up, then all day you'll have good luck. A Russian imperial egg. It looked rather plain. I suspected the medals weren't from the Moscow Debating Society. It seems our Medovsky has friends in low places.
It's like my boss said, the guy wants to be a player.
By extraordinary good fortune, the coin I'd picked up was the perfect shape to flip open the broken catch. Fancy that. Keys are always useful. Romanovs. The same brand of cigarettes that were in the ashtray in Vera's security. It was a Russian privatization voucher. I wondered why Medovsky displayed it so proudly. Medovsky in Libya. Happy days. What kind of guy hangs a picture of himself and Colonel Gaddafi on the wall?
The kind who will commit murder in order to steal their own painting.
Russian novels. Medovsky was clearly a big Tolstoy fan. I should have guessed. Keyboard was Cyrillic. ASD G or F? I couldn't remember. I didn't know the symbols. If I'd been able to remember the layout of a US keyboard, I might have been able to figure it out. ZX. I needed a keyboard for reference. ASD, G or F? Ugh, I couldn't remember. Leather-bound classics, bought by the yard, no doubt. It was locked. I knew we should wait for Medovsky. Nico?
Shh! I'm eavesdropping, Josh.
Medovsky had left the cabinet open. On the shelf in... Everything was in Cyrillic, except for a number. 1869. Everything was in Cyrillic, except for a number. 1869. A... I should have guessed. Keyboard was Cyrillic. It was locked. The study door's open now. Hear anything else interesting?
Hang on.
Listen, Hobbs, just take the portfolio and do your work. You are nervous, and I don't like that.
Understood. I have got a few questions, though.
I do not like questions either. Hurry up.
I noticed a couple of people arriving. Who were they? They look like coppers.
They were from the insurance company.
Has the...
Hobbs is going to head off with the portfolio. Whatever's in there is important. We need to stay with it.
I got Hobbs' address from his card. When we're done here, we should check it out.
Okay, Josh, but hurry. Medovsky will be back soon.
I'm going to check out the study.
Okay.
Wow, there must be millions of dollars worth of art on these walls. The drawer was open. My heart skipped a beat. But inside, I saw only a candy bar wrapper. The painting reminded me of my Aunt Maud. These paintings would have kept a critic enraptured for hours, but I didn't have time to dwell. Medovsky certainly loved. Medovsky had a... The desk was magnificent. Filthy habit. The chair was fancy and probably more expensive than it looked. The chair was fancy and filthy habit. Those two little holes were just waiting for me to put my fingers in. I resisted the urge. Those two little holes were just waiting for me to put my fingers in. I resisted the urge. The drawer was open, but inside I saw only a candy bar wrapper. It was an expensive chair. Medovsky had a truly impressive collection of paintings. Those two little holes were just waiting for me to put my fingers in. I resisted the urge. Medovsky had left the cabinet open. On the shelf inside was a business card and a scribbled note. Everything was in Cyrillic, except for a number, 1869. It was a Russian privatization voucher. I should have guessed. Keyboard was Cyrillic. I didn't know the symbols. If I'd been able to remember the layout of a U.S. keyboard, I might have been able to figure it out. A, S, D, G, or F? Ugh, I couldn't remember. Medovsky had an extensive collection of management books. The 7 Secrets of Leadership, 2009. The Business Bonaparte, 1983. Office Eagle or Management Mouse, 1998. Leather-bound classics, bought by the yard, no doubt. A secret drawer popped open. I knew that publication date would be significant. At last, I was going to discover Medovsky's secrets. It certainly wasn't Medovsky's sock drawer. Hey, Nico! Come see this! I think we've struck gold.
Hang on, I'm coming.
Look, a letter from a guy called Gainin. His company, Wolfram, want to purchase La Maledizio. They're offering way over the asking price.
Anything connecting Medovsky to Vera?
Well, let's see. Here we go. A lease for Vera's security.
Aha! Then we have the proof we need.
Hang on, what's this? Expenses for a Mr. Shears. Waterloo Motors, 1 helmet. These are from Paris. Madame La Trex. Hotel Britannique. Pizza. Nico. Pizza. I think your friend Shears might just be Henri's killer.
Georges, what have we got ourselves into? I just heard the front door close. Medovsky's coming. Put everything back in order, quick!
Right. He'll never suspect we just ransacked his house for evidence.
Georges, the coin!
Damn, no time. Look cool, Nico. I'll handle this.
I apologize for the lengthy wait. As you can imagine, my time is at a premium.
That's fine, Mr. Medovsky. I think we're almost finished anyway.
And payment?
Very soon, monsieur. Very soon.
Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Nice collection of medals you have there, Mr. Medovsky.
I earned them serving my country.
Anywhere interesting?
Chechnya. Ever been there?
No, can't say I've had the pleasure. Is that a first edition of War and Peace?
Of course. Printed in 1869. A great year for my country's literature. And Tolstoy is the master.
Is that a picture of you with Colonel Gaddafi?
A deeply wonderful man. He was a great fan of the Impressionists.
Well, he certainly left quite an impression on Libya. So, what brought you into the art business, Mr. Medovsky?
Oh, an eye for great artists, an appreciation of fine culture, and a love of what you Americans call the greenback.
You must be upset at the...
Yes, and disappointed that someone would kill.
So this Hobbs guy, good friend of yours, is he?
No, we've been through this already. Now please...
Thank you for...
Well, no prizes for guessing where we go now.
Hobbs' place, right?
Got it in one. Medovsky's pretty shady, don't you think?
He bought our act, though. You make a pretty good insurance man, George.
Yeah, who'd have thought it?
By the time he realizes we're not assessing his claim, we'll have cracked the case and be toasting our success.
Here's hoping. Looks like rain.
Come on, let's get that cab. Taxi!
I think we just stepped off the London tourist trail.
I guess this Hobbs character doesn't like visitors.
Not the kind of place you'd expect to find a restorer of old masters.
Unless you didn't want to attract attention.
He's attracted ours. Let's see what Mr. Hobbs knows about La Malediccio.
And let's try and get a look inside that portfolio.
The door was locked. Looking through the window, I could see that there was nothing in the van. Hobbs must have taken the portfolio inside. That wouldn't have worked. The large dumpster was full of garbage. Piles of junk, mostly boxes of old paints and scraps of picture frames. Mixed in were wires, cardboard, and some dubious-looking old clothes. George Stobart.
Ah, Monsieur Stobart. I trust you have obeyed my instructions not to leave Paris.
Of course, Inspector.
Good. You clearly know which side your cookie is buttered. Now, I require your presence tomorrow at the murder scene for a reconstruction.
I see.
12 o'clock sharp, monsieur. Or, as you would say, high noon.
Sure.
Any failure to comply, and I shall have you extraordinarily rendered. Have a nice day.
And you. That was Nave. We're...
Let me guess. Non-attend...
You... I wouldn't have been able to break the chain, or the padlock. The nail clippers would never have cut such a thick chain. It was Hobbs's mailbox. There was a note hanging out. For a second, I debated the morality of mail snooping. It was a short debate, and I won. I don't think there's anyone home.
There's a light on upstairs.
There was definitely someone home. I wouldn't have been able to break the chain, or the padlock. I thought about trying to pick the lock with a paperclip, but that really only works in the movies. That wasn't worth trying. That wouldn't work. The door was locked. Looking through the window, that was never going to happen. That wouldn't work. Climbing drain pipes was something I preferred to avoid, unless I had a great reason to do so. Climbing drain pipes was something I preferred to avoid, unless I had a great reason to do so. Slasher. I decided to leave the handbrake alone. I popped open the van's hood. The engine was held together by rust and dirt. Everything was covered in a sticky film of dirty black oil. Half the wiring wasn't connected to anything. It was the van's engine. I didn't really have any reason to sabotage it. A bundle of wires came into the engine bay from the dashboard. Many of the wires seemed to lead nowhere. It was one of two horns in the van. It didn't seem to be connected to anything else under the hood. Two wires hung loose from it. A loose wire hung from the horn. If I had some spare cable, I could connect it to the other horn. It was the van's engine. It was the van battery. It was one of two horns in the van. It didn't seem to be connected to anything else under the hood. Two wires hung loose from it. That would be pointless. That wouldn't have worked. A bundle of short, severed wires was connected to the battery. None of the wires were connected to anything. That would be pointless. The horn wasn't working. I decided to leave the handbrake alone. The door was locked. Looking through the window, I could see that there was nothing in the van. Hobbs must have taken the portfolio inside. Nope, I needed to try something else. I had found just what I needed. 2 lengths of wire. The engine bay was a mess. I connected the wires from the cab to the horn. I'd need the keys to start the engine. I had no reason nor any desire to steal Hobbs's van. The horn wasn't working. The horn wasn't working. The large dumpster was full of garbage. I wouldn't have been able to break the chain or the padlock. That wasn't worth trying. The nail clippers would never have cut such a thick chain. A pile of paint, wire, and other junk. It was the van battery. I needed to hook this up to the horn somehow. A bundle of short, severed wires was connected to the battery. It was the van's engine. The door was locked. Looking through the window, I could see that there was nothing in the van. Hobbs must have taken the portfolio inside. That was almost a great idea. Almost. That was never going to work. Nope, I needed to try something else. If only I'd hung out with the cool kids at school, I'd have learned how to hotwire a truck. If only I'd hung out with the cool kids at school, I'd have learned how to hotwire a truck. I needed a better idea. Nico?
What's up?
The lights are on, but nobody's answering.
Maybe they can't hear you knocking. We could try some other way of attracting their attention.
Nico had suggested that we needed to attract Hobbs' attention somehow. The large dumpster was full of garbage. That wouldn't make any sense. That would be pointless. That wasn't worth trying. Nope, I needed to try something else. That would be pointless. I connected the wires from the cab to the horn. I hoped this wouldn't cut short my plan. I connected the wires from the cab to the horn. The wire was just long enough to connect the battery to the horn. Everything was wired up. The horn had power. I figured that should get Hobbs' attention.
All right, hold your blooming horses. What are you up to with my van?
Hello there. We fixed your horn.
So I hear. Now what are you doing in my yard?
Sorry to bother you again, Mr. Hobbs, but... Well, that could have gone better.
He's not exactly the friendliest of characters.
I decided to give it another blast.
For crying out loud, will you leave my van alone?
Sorry, just need a quick word, Mr. Hobbs. Hello there. We'd like to discuss some restoration work with you.
Then make an appointment. I'm busy.
This Hobbs guy doesn't exactly like visitors.
There must be some angle we can use to talk our way inside.
I decided to give it another blast.
You two again? What is it this time?
Mr. Hobbs, do you mind if we ask you a few questions?
Yes.
Yes, you will answer a few questions?
Yes, I do mind. Clear?
Not really.
Good. Now get lost.
This is crazy. We need to get in there and take a look around.
We need a good cover story.
The door was locked. Looking through the window, I could see that there was nothing in the van. Hobbs... The large dumpster was full of garbage. That was never going to work. Nope, I needed to try something else. The mailbox was empty. Climbing drain pipes was something I preferred to avoid.
Nico? So, Hobbs doesn't want to see us. It's like Detroit round here, and it's going to be dark soon. Shall we head back?
No! We need to convince Hobbs to let us in.
I decided to give it another blast.
What now?
Sorry to bother you again, Mr. Hobbs, but...
This is crazy.
We need a...
I decided to open the letter. Dear Mr. Hobbs, due to previous incidents, we are writing to inform you that we will no longer be sending models to your address. It went on to discuss Hobbs's temper and other alleged infractions, some of which still carry the death sentence in certain less sophisticated cultures. Interesting. This could come in useful. I decided to give it another blast.
What now?
Afternoon, Mr. Hobbs. We're from the model agency.
About blooming time. I'm on a deadline. You better come up. About time you two showed up.
Hello, Mr. Hobbs. I was just wondering if...
Can it, Goldilocks? I don't have time for chit-chat. Just get undressed behind that screen.
Undressed?
That was the deal. An extra 20 quid because I need you with your kit off.
The studio was freezing.
And as for you, darling, no need to get undressed. I've got a vivid imagination, so I'll just use that. Either way, just go sit over there on that rug and give me your best belly-pock floozy. That's perfect. Just hold it there.
Nico made for a good distraction. I just needed to figure out how to get a look inside that portfolio. A variety of liquor bottles, all empty. It was a shaky old elevator that would once have lifted goods between the floors. Wow, an old Bofson Wang stereo. I hadn't seen one of those for years. The record had stopped. It was Jasmine Breeze by the Hairy Lobsters. Hobbs seemed to have a thing for 70s psychedelic jams. Burroughs, Dick, Rand. Hobbs liked his literature heavy and paranoid. I turned the volume up a few notches.
My, if it isn't George Stobart.
Lady Piermont. Oh, my. You're...
Naked? Of course. As an artist's muse, one often finds oneself en pelotas. Now, George, don't be shy. Come here and give me a big hug.
That day was the day the nightmares were beginning. Trapped, smothered, choking on lavender.
George, darling, pass me my robe. It's terribly cold in here.
Oi, what you do with a blooming robe on? God help me, but you're supposed to be naked. I've got a deadline to meet.
Well, you won't be meeting any deadlines with manners like that. And besides, it's freezing in here.
Lady Piermont and I had met before. She was larger than life, in every way. Wary of any more life-changing surprises, I decided against exploring behind the screen.
Hey! Leave that dial alone. The heating gobbles up all the power and the circuits can't take it.
Sorry. I turned the thermostat down a bit. I wasn't going to mess around with that wiring.
Hey, that's my whiskey ration for the day gone.
How about a top-up, Mr. Hobbs?
Don't mind if I do.
It was locked. I wondered what was behind the door.
Hey, stop meddling with that. The power's ropey enough as it is.
Blowing the power would certainly have distracted Hobbs, but the elevator alone wasn't going to trip the whole system. I wasn't going to mess around with that wiring. That was almost a great idea. Almost. I didn't need to sit. It was time for action. Hobbs had loosely sketched a young couple and an elderly lady sitting next to an overturned picnic basket. The three characters were naked. Behind them, two men in suits were chatting. I didn't need to sit. It was time for action. I wasn't going to mess around with that wiring.
Hey! I've told you, don't mess with that thermostat.
Hobbs looked mean. I decided to leave the glass alone.
How about another whiskey? That's smashing. Pour away. Hey, that's private.
Sorry, forgot.
Lady Piermont.
Oh, George, be a darling and sort the heating out in here.
I'll see what I can do.
Hey, stop meddling with that. The power's ropey enough as it is.
The elevator on its own wasn't going to blow the power.
Hey! I've told you, don't mess with that thermostat.
Sorry, but Lady Piermont is cold. I thought...
Look, pal, I know it's brass monkeys here, but the wiring in this building is ancient, and the fuse box won't take it. Her Majesty will just have to get used to chapel hat pegs.
Lady Piermont, Mr. Hobbs won't let me turn up the heating.
Well, we'll soon see about that.
Oh, crumbs.
If you do not adjust the heating, I shall refuse to cooperate.
Lady Piermont, it's the circuits. They won't take the strain. You know what old buildings are like.
In which case, I see no reason for this session to continue.
Whoa, Lady Piermont, let's not be too hasty. I'm sure I can accommodate your needs.
Good. Perhaps you can start by letting George here turn up the heating.
Oh, go ahead then, but be careful. The power in here is temperamental.
I turned the thermostat up as far as it would go. I wondered if the suspicious wiring could be used to my advantage.
Oh, you. Get down from there. You'll trip the power in the whole building if you're not careful.
The elevator on its own wasn't going to blow the power,